This video is not meant for kids at all.
Hi guys, it's Arne here. Star Wars was and will always be one of my favorite media franchises of all time, which is something that I've always expressed before, but I haven't gone into detail as to why. I've always loved the creativity behind the concepts, the idea behind the world, the mythological aspects of it all, the sheer volume of the universe, the battles, the characters. Everything was just unbelievable to me. Then Disney came along and was like, hey, let's do that. But worse! To be fair, when Disney announced the sequel trilogy, I didn't know what the fuss was about. I mean, I just was happy to see Star Wars back. They premiered pretty much next to my birthday, which was really nice. I bought these Stormtrooper glasses when we went to see The Force Awakens in 2015, and I really digged it back then. Then The Last Jedi came out. I was kind of mixed. I enjoyed it, but I still appreciate it, and I thought that we were in for a good time with The Rise of Skywalker. I had the illusion of like an amazing standoff to the franchise with high stakes, satisfactory storytelling, and great arcs to our characters, and it's fair to say that none of my expectations were met.
Alright, kids, are you kidding me? Palpatine being revived for his entire purpose as a character! It is absolutely worthless! C-3PO's memory loss does nothing at all! Why is the second Death Star hole freaking exploded? Mama used to be a traffic and what the her parents were nobody after all. Well, does that even make that's a contradiction? When do you even get that information from? Gets only 4 minutes of screen time? Why? Force skills suddenly a thing!
I hate this movie. It now stands in the deep hole of my heart that I only used to reserve for The Good Dinosaur and Lion King 2019. I actively want for Disney to step in and like snap their finger and decanonizing the sequel trilogy like they did with the entire Legends canon. I feel disappointed, insulted, furious, and confused, honestly. Why did this movie, with so much going for it, turn into a dumpster fire? Well, I think we should go back to the beginning of the problem. 2012. It was a big year, because everybody thought it was going to be the last. It was when Disney began their acquisition of Lucasfilm, you know, the studio that made the Star Wars movie, and they also made other stuff via subsidiaries like Pixar, which then separated from the company, Industrial Light and Magic, Skywalker Ranch, whatever. Well, the takeover ended with the two aforementioned Skywalker Ranch and Industrial Lights and Magic, and George Lucas lost his role as a creative lead, and they started producing new movies on their own. The Force Awakens was brainstormed, planned, shot, edited, and finished in just around 2 to 3 years, which kind of explains the lack of a plan. That's a small window to map out the sequel trilogy, plus the 2 other spin-offs with brand new ideas, characters, locations, stories, and they try not to fall into continuity errors, please fans and newcomers alike, while also selling tons of merchandise and other stuff. So it's not much of a surprise, honestly. It went really well initially. The Force Awakens is one of the highest grossing films of all time. Pretty much everybody liked it. The spin-offs like Rogue One and Solo were fine appetizers, but Solo was it had a box office bomb and it wasn't received that well by the critics. I didn't mind Solo, partially because I fell asleep in the cinema, the only time that's happened to me. And it came under a lot of heat, especially because its predecessor, The Last Jedi, freaking got destroyed by the fan base. Not a lot of people liked it, but I think here is what it went to shit. Basically, Disney gave too much power to Rian Johnson to do The Last Jedi, which in my opinion is where it all went wrong, because, well, Rian is a good director. He made an alright script, but he did not adapt well to the plan, because the highlight is the same absolutely destroying the finale they were building to, because why the hell not? So he made the Rise of Skywalker's direction to just resign and leave the production in hell, and nobody knew what to do. Current Lucasfilm leader Kathleen Kennedy just chucked J.J. Abrams back from The Force Awakens to direct the whole thing, and they tried to salvage the project by uniting the fan base, and they succeeded at it. They united the fan base against themselves. They had no idea what they were doing. They made 10 different endings to the story at once. 10 different endings. This isn't a Quantum Dream game. This is a multi-million-dollar blockbuster finale to a saga that has more history than the entire United States of America. That's right, I said it. The production needed time to breathe, and maybe if they delayed it and gave them more time to rethink what they were doing, maybe it would have worked. Just maybe everything would have been okay. I don't know. So you do a Hail Mary and bring back Emperor Palpatine to get butts and seats and some YouTube theories going on. I get that Solo bombed in the box office, so they were scared and Rian Johnson screwed up big time and J.J. Abrams isn't that creative, but why? Why not tell Ryan when you were making The Last Jedi that he didn't just get to kill Snoke? They were genuinely improvising to the point that it's genuinely bonkers that they were doing this to their second biggest franchise. There was also the odd laundry tie-in commercials, the Duel of the Fates baiting in the trailers, the behind-the-scenes directorial drama, and to quote EFK from Clone, "Storms are brewing." So the sequel trilogy goes for a fun road rehash of the originals, but with a twist. They misinterpreted most of the story beats. No, JJ, Luke didn't win a single lightsaber duel until Return of the Jedi. No, he didn't even have to fight one in A New Hope. No, then they went from the grim middle chapter with The Last Jedi, so you have a planet-destroyed weapon-infused beginning, a middle chapter where everything goes wrong, and the next step is a bad conclusion. I personally don't like Return of the Jedi that much, it's kinda boring, so I would only be feeling for the conclusion to also be bad and boring at the same time. Most planets are rehashed. Oh, this one is like Starkiller base. Oh, this one is like Tatooine. Oh, this one is like Endor. This one is like a darker Hoth. Oh, and this one is just Otto Holland from Frozen 2. I wish I could talk about a plot, but there isn't one. It's just kind of a fetch quest. Go to this planet, get a thing. Go to this planet, get a thing. Go to this planet, do a thing. Go to this planet, get a thing. Go to this planet, make out with your frequent kidnapper. Go to this planet, insult everybody's legacy. The end. Rey is actually the worst character in this movie. She has no memorable lines of dialogue, no character arc, nothing. She's just something that progresses the plot randomly and makes everybody look and feel worthless. She's just a Mary Sue action girl, and the Rey Skywalker scene at the end always makes me scream in pain, agony, and denial. But we need to talk about her simp. Finn is worthless, like I mentioned earlier. He should have died in the last movie when he killed Rose's character at the Red Salt planet for the fanbase and everyone who isn't a misogynist. Here he has 3 things to do. Say Rey 13 times in one movie, I counted. Hold on to a secret that he raised and never bothered to answer, and motivate forgettable characters like that one girl whose name I literally forgot. He does nothing. He lost his good chemistry with Mary Sue and Latino trafficant. Poe Dameron was a cool character at first, but he has turned into an asshole by this point in the continuity. Now he suddenly was a no substance trafficant, and he's a hothead that needs to be put in his place. As a Colombian, you know how I feel about being represented that way. No. We meet all sorts of interesting characters like Pink Trafficker, Generic Messenger Alien, this hacker that appears for like 3 minutes and somehow stole the show, yet another super remarkable droid, another generic bounty hunter, generic First Order Deserters, Fat Lando, and I genuinely forgot most of their names. This movie has such a fast pace and I genuinely know next to nothing about them. Kylo is okay. He doesn't feel much different from Force Awakens Kylo, but when he becomes Ben Solo again, it kind of comes out of nowhere in my opinion, and I generally don't care at all. Then he makes out with Rey after the climax, and of all things, all ships are suggestions or things from the fandom. Why Reylo? There hasn't been a bit of romantic tension. They've tried to kill each other like 75 different times. Oh, you tried to run her over. Oh, she stabbed you. She left a scar on your fucking face. You ruined your prize. You kidnapped and tortured her twice. And now you suddenly want to fuck. And the First Order is here. They do nothing. It's just Pulpy here pulling the strings. Speaking of which, he's kind of generic. I like the design of his base, but I generally don't care. There's also the spy plotline, which is stupid. I feel so sassy making this guy this other general sus, and then they pull the double allegiance hawks out of nowhere. And sorry about was that Star Killer speech for anything then? Chewbacca's fake out death did make an impact on me and on Sis, but everything leading up to it was kinda dumb. His rescue mission is a bit dumber. C-3PO is kinda funny, but he gets on my nerves. Also, his memory deletions and drags for too long, taking valuable time we could use to, like, bring depth to the characters you introduced that did absolutely nothing, and in the end it's just done like nothing. And Rey getting asked who her parents is over and over again is just really forced, like trying to, oh, she doesn't have a family, oh, shut up. So after all of this nothingness, we make it to the climax so we can then see the Reylo kiss. But to get to that, we have to watch Star Wars flavored Avengers Endgame. Let's see, gigantic battles that our heroes are losing. Check, people arriving from nowhere to help. Check, I'm inedible and I am Iron Man type scene. Check, really emotional sacrifice. Hey, I guess it isn't a ripoff after all. Plus, in this entire climax screams phony. The action is alright, the VFX is well done. The score is brutally matched with the moments on screen that it's not even the composer's fault. I mean, John Williams was thrown under the bus. He made like 3 hours of unused music because this movie was a car crash. The action for a final battle and the Star Wars canon as of the time I'm writing this is fairly standard, but overall it does its job kind of alright. Then they beat Palpatine, that horrible thing happens, Skylar dies, woo hooray, we did it, then we have the last kick I was willing to take. This Star Wars fire ends with a silent scene in which Rey goes to Tatooine with her old lightsaber, which was Luke's lightsaber, which was Anakin's lightsaber, and Leia's lightsaber. I forgot to mention Leia's, and we have some Jedi training, which I'm going to tolerate. I mean, they alluded to it in, like, Return to the Jedi, and it justifies the last movie Space Leia scene, so, yeah, whatever. Then she buries them in Tatooine, in sand, despite Anakin, like, actively despising sand, and Luke wanting nothing about leaving the planet, and Leia never living here, and the fact that sand could damage the lightsabers, and the fact that maybe the pressure could, like, turn the lightsaber on, or maybe archiving them in a museum would be a better idea. Then Rey leaves and is confronted by an old woman. We know that Rey suddenly is now Palpatine's granddaughter, who was abandoned by her parents to protect her, which, thanks, I really needed a genetic explanation and a retcon to know why she's so powerful. Thank you. The woman asks what's her name, to which she replies, Rey Skywalker. Excuse me, lady, but identity theft is not a joke. Millions of families suffer every year. Also, that makes your relationship with Benny Boy incest. And also, your family ruined the life of everyone in the Skywalker lineage family. And then you basically killed them off and then swoop in and be like, hey, I'm a Skywalker, despite indirectly killing all of them. And be like, yeah, let's go, right, huh? Huh? You want me to cheer her on? Huh? Star Wars is a franchise with a massive legacy that was concluded with a derivative, boring, uncreative, messy, and ultimately below average film that treats everything this saga has accomplished so poorly. This movie grossed $1 billion, every penny undeserved, every single one. It's what I would say if they decided to make a bad continuation of Star Wars in the form of a poorly planned and ruined sequel trilogy. Like, that's never gonna happen. The sequel trilogy. In the sequel trilogy. Sequel trilogy. Someone get me out of this nightmare!